We are talking about tonight that you can't force nobody to see your value. You can't do it. You are a valuable person. You have greatness in you. And that's why you are part of tonight's therapy session, where we're having a casual conversation. And I want you to be able to speak freely. I want you to be able to comment, because people literally read your comments. And one comment could probably change somebody's life. They might be saying, man, I can't believe somebody else is feeling the same way as me. I've been out here trying to prove myself to people. And it hurts, because now I know that I'm understanding that this feeling that I feel that's heavy, it just means that I'm helpless. Then it breaks into a little illusion now. Because most people believe if I'm good, I'll be valued. Most people believe that if I'm loyal, I'll be appreciated. Most people believe that if I show up, I'll be chosen. But when that formula that you put together in your mind, it fails, it shakes you. It really do. It shakes you. It starts to mess with you, because you realize that effort does not guarantee recognition. And that feels unfair. And that unfairness feeling that you feel, it triggers anger and grief at the same time. Then it started reopening old wounds. Especially if you've ever felt overlooked. Have you ever felt overlooked? Have you ever felt compared? Have you ever felt not chosen first? Have you ever felt not prioritized? Then this moment I'm talking about is, you should know what I'm talking about. Because that is part of the hurt. That is part of the things that you go through. And every time that you go unseen and they treat you some type of way, it triggers that feeling. It's just that reaction. It just seems like it's bigger than the situation. I'm talking about not being valued, and you know that you are a powerful person. And one of the reasons that it hurt is that it's hard to accept it. It's hard to accept it. You can explain yourself, you can defend your character, you could show receipts, but you cannot argue somebody to appreciate you. And then when you really accept to yourself and you be like, man, I really know what's going on. I really get it now. And you begin to surrender, and then, you accepting this. Surrendering is really just your reality. But that surrender that you feel and that you know in your heart, guess what that does? It feels like a loss. It feels like a loss before it feels like peace. See, this is deep. This is something that we ought to discuss. This is something that is very special, because we have so many people who spend so many years trying to get somebody to see their value. And I believe that if you can understand the psychology behind it, if you can understand the hardship behind it, if you can understand the meaning of what you feel, you can get to a place of happiness. I really do believe that the more wisdom you have and the more understanding that you get, I really do believe, according to scripture, you're going to be a happy person. Because now you know why. Now you know what you feel. When someone don't see the value, right? It would always make you question your value. Even when you logically know better. Because we measure our worth, we measure it through reflection. We look at how other people respond to us, and then we gauge that, like, and we compare it to who we are. So when someone fails to reflect or give us appreciation, it really distorts our own understanding about how we feel about ourselves. But it do it temporarily. See, it hurts because you thought that if you love harder, you thought that if you showed up stronger, you thought that if you stayed longer, they'll finally see you. But the truth is, people only see what they are capable of recognizing. I really hope that this is getting through you, because I want to tell you about where people mess up, where we mess up. I want to tell you where you actually begin to start messing up. And again, those that are just coming on, I want you to share this live, because we're talking about something very powerful tonight. We are talking about that you can't force people to see your value. You can't do it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care how you feel. But I'm telling you, as a friend, as a brother, as your coach, you cannot force people to see your value. People mess up when they start performing harder. People mess up when they start proving more. People mess up when they start shrinking themselves. Have you ever shrunk yourself to try to please somebody? See, you don't become more valuable by overextending yourself. Overextension don't increase your worth. It exposes your insecurities. And that's where people sabotage themselves. Because when people don't see your value, it makes you go into this proving point. It makes you try to do things that's out of the ordinary. Because everybody else, they respond to you with compensation. They respond to you with appreciation. This thing is real, man. This thing is something that you have to know, because I spent years trying to get people to see my value when I didn't even have to. And a lot of us, we waste time in situations. We waste times in business deals. I want to talk about how you try to prove yourself harder. I want to talk about what that actually does when you do that. And that rejection, it literally activates the pursuit. And then your brain start to think that if I can increase effort, I can change the outcome. So people, they start explaining, overly explaining. They start to overly give. This is crazy, but it's true. It's crazy, but it's true. This is what we go through. You start to over communicate. You start to overly sacrifice. Then you start to think that visibility maybe they need to see you more. But then you realize that your value don't increase that way. Just because you're performing harder, just because you're showing yourself. No. I want to say the more that you choose recognition, the more your worth feels negotiable. I don't think that you should be trying to negotiate your worth with anybody. I don't think that is a smart thing to really be trying to negotiate your worth. Like, why are you doing that? Sometimes I had to ask myself, why is I'm trying to negotiate how much I'm worth and what I actually bring to the table? But this is what happens when you mentally, when you fall into this, when you try to get people to see your worth. Like this is what happens. It's not a good feeling. And then the crazy thing about it is you ask yourself, why do you say what's wrong with me? How many people have ever said that? What's wrong with me? You know you valuable. You know you powerful. You know you got a lot of things going on in your life. How many people have said that? You know what you bring to the table. You know your structure. You know your gifts. Right? But this is what we do. This is what we do. We tie we tie our self-worth, we tie it to somebody else's perception of us. And then instead of saying, they don't have the capacity, we be like, what's wrong with me? Some people don't have the capacity. They don't see it. I want to say this, that your value do not depend on somebody else's approval. Your value, it does not depend on somebody else's approval. Because if it does, guess what it does? It begins to create what you call insecurity loops. And nobody likes to feel like this. Nobody likes that, because you begin to internalize rejection instead of seeing the mismatch. See, they see deficiency in a lot of cases. We see deficiency. We be like, I wasn't enough. I'm too much. I should have been different. And before you know it, your brain, it starts to want to control. So it chooses self-blame. Because you be like, it must be my fault so I can fix it. But sometimes I want to tell you right now, there's nothing you can fix. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. And when you start feeling like you got to fix something, guess what you start doing next? You really get into this competition mode. And you be like, I wonder who they like more. I want to know who they pick. I want to know who they followed. I want to know who they respond to, who they respect more than me. And then now what this is going to cause, this cause you to shame, is going to cause you to go into a little anger every now and then. It's going to cause you to start obsessing. You can't heal like that, because now you're measuring yourself because somebody didn't value you. Somebody didn't value you. And again, as you're coming on, this is a very sensitive subject that we're talking about tonight. We are talking about that you can't force anybody. You can't force them to value you. You have greatness in you. You are a special person. I don't care about your past. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care about the mistakes you made. Do you know one thing that God can do? One thing that he does great is he know how to rebirth something. He's the only person in the world that can take something that's not even living and give it life. So when I think about the value that God could give us at any time, I think about you. I think about me. I think about the things that I can still obtain as long as I'm still here. So yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. And then another thing that, when you're trying to force somebody to, you're trying to force them to literally see your value, you try to control the whole narrative. You try to act like sometimes like you're unbothered. You try to pretend like you don't care. But in reality, you be caring. But in reality, you be caring. You be caring. And the reason you do is because that's a form of protection. You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to protect your ego. And again, you can't heal in situations like this. You cannot heal in things that you're trying to still win. And that's the reality. That's the reality. That's the hard truth. You cannot win. You cannot heal in something that you're trying to win. You got to understand that when people don't see your value, the wrong response by you is to increase effort. Quit trying. That's the wrong response. I would tell anybody that the right response is to increase alignment. But that ego, we have to resist our ego. We have to resist it. We got to be like, hey, it's okay. Walking away, it feels like losing. That's fine. But the moment you start trying to convince someone of your value, you've already stepped out of it. And I want to tell you a real truth. And I want you to really understand this. I want to tell you a real truth that you have to know and that I had to learn and I had to figure this out. Some people don't see your value because they are not built to carry it. They're not built to carry it. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. People that don't see your value, they're not built to carry it. You can't keep explaining yourself into being appreciated. You can't keep doing that. You can't convince someone to honor what they don't recognize. I want to say this, that recognition is not a negotiation. It's a reflection of the capacity. See, capacity determines recognition. See, people can only recognize what they have the capacity to understand. And I want to say this very clearly because many of you're going to get it when I say this, right? You're going to get it. If somebody lacks like depth, if they lack emotional maturity or self-awareness, even stability. I'm talking about if people lack these things, they may not understand what they're looking at. It's not always blindness. Sometimes people just have certain limitations. And sometimes your value exposes them. I just want to tell you the truth. See, you might have just gotten out of a relationship that you didn't like and that went wrong, and you're trying to figure out what happened. You're trying to figure out, I wasn't valued enough. I didn't have enough value for this person. I wasn't good enough for this person. You're trying to figure this out. Your brain is in a frenzy and you're trying to understand your emotions and why you feel this way and why you're hurting. And so I think that this is a really good therapy session for you to really think about and take notes. Your value sometimes exposes people. They're not on your level. That some of them, they can't see, they can't understand who you are. They can't see the greatness in you. See, if you're loyal, if you're disciplined, if you're consistent, if you're emotionally aware, literally, and they are not, your presence become a mirror. And mirrors are uncontrollable. So instead of rising, they minimize. Man, you can't force people. You can't force people. I'm sorry. You just can't do it. Your value to them is they can't see it. They don't understand it. I want you to tell me in the comments, when did you realize that your value was not seen? How long were you in that relationship? I want to know, how long were you in that relationship when you was like, man, I really don't think they see my value. I really don't think they see me. I really don't think they see what I could do for them. How long? Some people said 14 years. Oh my goodness. 3 years, 8 months, 10 years, 3 years. You know, this is a very touchy subject because there's a lot of women right now, you thought that you wasn't enough. You keep telling yourself, I wasn't enough for him, when that is not the truth. He just couldn't see your value. He couldn't see the greatness that God had put in you. He couldn't see it. And it don't feel good. I know it don't feel good. I know it don't feel good. It don't feel good to nobody. Somebody says he started getting jealous of me. And then if it isn't uncomfortable, then you're not growing. Somebody says he used me to get where he needed to be and then ghosted me. Wow. You know, I'm just telling you right now that if you don't learn anything else tonight, that I want to give you some tips too that you can do. But I really want you to know in your mind and in your heart, right, that God don't want you trying to prove your value to nobody. He's going to bring you somebody that sees your value. He's going to bring you somebody that respects your value. There's nothing worse. There's almost nothing worse in this world, you know, to really, when you are linked up with somebody and they're supposed to be your team, they're supposed to be your life partner, somebody to help you, you know, go to a new level, you know, and they don't see your value. It's something that hurts so bad. And it's okay. We're human. It's okay. We have issues. We have disagreements. But I don't want you to spend these years trying to force somebody to see your value. Let me tell you one of the biggest things you can do. Right? One of the biggest things you can do is walk away. Now, I heard a speaker tell me one time, if you wanted to know your value, you should do a progress report. Walk away. And if that person don't miss you, if that person didn't need you, if that person, if you wasn't there doing anything for that person, if you was not needed and that person don't have any hardship without you, then maybe you wasn't any value. But when you look at all of the things you've done and all of the things you do, when you look at who you are, when you look at what you actually bring, see, a lot of people, you might just think that, oh, I bring money to the table. Just because you bring money to the table don't always make you a valuable, men say this all the time. I'm valuable because, I bring money to the table. Bro, money without discipline that's not value. There's a lot of rich people or well-off people who are not worth anything. They just landed a good job. They don't have a prayer life. They don't have a vision for their family. They don't teach. They don't train. They don't do nothing. They don't even protect for real. They don't know where to go. No, I'm talking about real value. You start asking yourself, what is a real value? What do you bring to the table? Have you ever just wrote that down? What do I bring to the table? When you think about that, right? Have you ever just wrote that down? What is my real gifts? I've been in so many arguments, literally, or so many debates or conversations about value. I have. Because when you know that you have value, you take it real personal when people treat you like you don't. When you know that you have vision, you have drive, right? When you know that you have goals and you have plans and you have things that works and that help you create and that help you be a better person. And people don't realize that, and people don't see that. See, it starts a real agitation. But I've had real arguments about this. I've had arguments with, people who don't have worth, and I have to really show them what kind of value do you have? I ask people all the time, I say, what do you bring to the table? Don't mean that you can't start bringing things to the table. And every time people say table, they always say, oh, you must just be talking about money. No. Well, you must just be talking about cooking and cleaning. And no. What else do you bring to the table? And I'm going to tell men right now that's listening to me, the most powerful thing you can bring to the table is true masculinity. The first thing that God gave us was to work. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you a man that played a game all day, you have no vision, you barely want to work, or you don't work, I just going to be honest with you. I can't lie. I got to tell the truth. The value you claim you got, you ain't got. You spend most of the time on a video game. You spend most of the time with your homeboys. You spend most of the time not being that ain't a lot of value, big dog. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just want to be honest, Maybe that's what we need to talk about tonight. Maybe that's what we need to talk about tonight. Maybe that's what we need to talk about tonight. Since we're talking about you can't force people to see your value, Maybe we should be really talking about what is real value. So ladies, what I want you to do tonight, from a woman's point of view, I want you to comment what is real value. I want you to comment what is real value. I'm serious. And as a man, no, and let me be very clear real quick. I want you to comment what is real value from a woman's standpoint. And men, I want you to comment what is real value from a man's point of view. Because I really think that a lot of men, we got to be taught on what true value is. We have to literally be, coached in, because a lot of us, we didn't grow up with leadership. We don't know how valuable leadership is. When I ask you right now, if I ask your other person and I say, look, how are they in their leadership? When something happens, can you depend on them? Are they a protector? They not play about you? Something happened, is they coming? You catch a flat tire, can I depend on you to come get me off the road? Can I depend on you to have car insurance that I can call where they can come get me off the road? What can I depend on you? So what's so crazy to me is that a lot of men, you get offended when your value really ain't what you think it is. It don't matter. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how big you are in the gym and you lifting these weights and you look powerful. You look great. You got the six pack. That don't make you valuable. See, you thinking on a carnal level. You thinking on a level that really, don't you know that the body profit little? I'm serious. I'm so serious right now. And we're talking about a value in a relationship right now, right? If we're going there and women are, they're commenting, right? Men are commenting right now. And guys, I really do appreciate the likes. I would love, if you are enjoying this today, please give me some likes. I'm live on TikTok and I'm also live on Facebook. So give me some likes and also continue to share this. This is something that we do every Monday through Friday. I try to go live, by 9. Sometimes I try to start a little bit before, but between 9 and 10, I'm going to always be live for a while. Having these sessions, having these conversations, because I really have a heart to really help people to reset. And I appreciate everybody who's been buying my book, 21 Days to Reset, right? It's on my website, markleejr.com. It's a very powerful book to help you reset, help you to rewire your mind, get some of that stuff that you thought that was right, that was really wrong, help you to rebuild your life and reclaim your peace. And sometimes you got to reset. You got to walk away from people who think they got value that don't have value. I'm telling you the truth. Somebody says, I bought mine last night. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Somebody said, I want to read this. Teresa says, honesty, trust, a godly man, respect, compassion, protection, does what they say they will. Wow. That's good. Yeah, so I want you to talk about, we're still talking about, in a relationship, what's valuable. I would tell, if I had my daughter, right? I have a daughter. When she get older and she starts to date, the very first thing I will let her know is her value. She will have money. Money won't be a problem. She will have training. She have her self-respect. But when I begin to teach her about men, I'm a man, so I can definitely tell her if he's valuable or not. I feel like, number one, this man has to, I'm sorry, he got to believe in God. Like, If this man don't believe in God, how he gonna love you? Think about that. How this man gonna really, lead you? Who's gonna hold him accountable? So if he have nobody that he fears or nobody that could correct him, what you think gonna happen in your relationship? This man ain't even submitted unto God, and you want this man to have, be a good man, but he's not even I think that would be the first thing I would tell my daughter. He's not valuable if he don't love God. I'm sorry. I guess I just got to tell the truth. He's not valuable if he don't love God, because he ain't going to treat you right. Most men don't know what love is until they really get connected with God for real. Most men don't know how to treat a woman. I'm just telling the truth. And the next thing I will tell her is, do he have a vision about his life? Do he know where he want to go? Do he understand his purpose? Do he understand, what do he understand? A lot of times your standards you have to check at the door. You can't call a man valuable because they just got money. I would tell my daughter, don't call this man valuable just because he got, he might be a professional athlete. So what? Do you know how many of them get out of the league and they broke? And their family is dismantled because they depended on that for so long? That don't make you valuable. Somebody says, teaching good, sir. I appreciate you. Yeah. Do you have any realistic goals? That's what Samuel Gray said. That's what I would ask the man. We're going to talk about the man right now. Do you have any realistic goals? What's your plan? What do you really want out of life? I think that when you're getting in a relationship, that it is imperative that you interview people for real, that you really get to know them for real, because it's one of the most important decisions you can ever make in your life. People say marriage is, of course marriage is, but even when you dating, that's important too. You might get with somebody who just wants to have children with you, but don't want you. They don't value you. They don't value you enough to marry you. We see that a lot. They don't value you enough. They don't value that woman enough to say, I won't no other woman, won't no other man be with you. I choose you. And see, this is the problem that we have right now in relationships. I'm talking about people that are not married. You've been in a relationship 5, 10 years. Y'all still living together. Nobody have a real commitment. I'm just telling the truth. Don't mean you don't got no value because y'all not, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm actually talking about a standard from the beginning. I'm talking to my daughter right now. This is what I would tell her. Literally, okay, so he got that. I would say, well, how's his credit? I would say, how is he with his financial planning? Can you really depend on him? If you needed to? See, these questions to me are very important. When we start talking about worth, have you seen him how is he when he gets upset and things don't go his way? Do he run to other people, or do he run to prayer, or what do he run to? Because you can find out how valuable a person is when hard times strike. You will see how valuable a person is when hard times strike. What happens when there's a death in the family? What happens when you are dealing with a lot of life emotional issues? What happened? How do he handle rejection in life? How do he handle hardship? You can't judge a person's character by what you see on the outside. You have to know, you have to see. That's what makes them valuable. Do he run when things get hard? Or do he stand strong like a man and face them? That's what makes a man valuable. Man that know what he want, man that's knowledgeable, a man that's always learning, a man that's, always, in his mind wanting to get to the next level, a man that has drive to want to become a better person, a better individual. Like his whole life is like, I got to do better. I got to do more. I got to, I got to keep growing. I got to keep challenging myself. I got to keep getting to the next level. I got to keep protecting. I got to become the best protector I can be. You see what I'm saying, where I'm going with this? I got to find out how to be a better leader. I got to figure it out. That's a valuable person. So I want to jump on women right now. What makes a woman valuable? I would tell my sons, I have 3 sons. I would tell them her relationship with God first. That's what I would say. I'm so serious. Everything starts with him. Because a woman that don't really fear God for real, I feel the same as I feel about a man. She ain't gonna be able to love you correctly. She ain't gonna be able to really, you know what I forgot about to say about men? I gotta say this because I gotta go back. Hold up. What makes a man valuable is discipline. We'll touch on that later, but let me go back. But yeah, so a woman, I would tell my son, look, she got to love God. And she got to be able to bridle her tongue. She got to be a woman that is humble, is meek. I had a almost like a discussion debate with somebody about a woman being meek and humble. I don't think there's nothing wrong with a woman being meek and humble. I'm not telling a woman to go around being a slave or all this foolishness people try to make right now. But you have to make sure that the woman you get is meek enough and humble enough to follow you. You don't have to make her follow you. And I'll tell any man, if you got to make a woman follow you, she don't know your value. If you got to negotiate with her about following your leadership, she don't know your value. Either she don't see your value. She don't believe in your value. But the right woman that believes in your value, guess what? She'll follow you. Even if you fall in hard times. I would tell a man what makes a woman valuable. Like, if I lost my job, would she go out and cheat on me? If this happens, guys, this happens. I just counseled a man the other day. His wife, but he didn't tell me the whole story until I kept asking questions. How long they was living like this. But she went out, got a job at Waffle House, and moved in with the general manager with his kids when they was going through hard times. Now, I can't totally just expunge him from, him being part of that reason because, you had them living in a hotel, for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. You've constantly fighting, you constantly not working, you constantly not changing. It's like, what you think? This woman is in survival mode. Now, I'm not giving her excuse to do what she did. But what I'm saying is he was part of the problem. I mean, I just got to be honest. Like, we have to be honest. It's just like a man who say that she didn't give me none for so long and yeah, blah, 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 blah. So she was part of the problem. So in this situation, it's abuse. He was an abusive man too. You mean to tell me you want to beat this woman and also have her in this situation, living like this, and think she ain't going to look for a different alternative? Because now she can't really trust in what's going on. But yeah, so I would say get a woman who could really go through some hard times with you. She see you trying. She see that you're loyal. She see that, you're faithful, and and she won't give up on you. Do you know how special it is to find a woman like that who don't give up on you? A woman that'll hold you down. See, a good woman, even though I don't believe in 50-50, I believe that, when I say I don't believe in it, not saying that it's not, that you know, I'm saying for me and my sons, I teach them that you need to be able to pay all the bills. And if she want to go to work, that's extra. But you should be able to pay all the bills. If not, you got to figure it out. I know this economy is hard, but a lot of people want to live above their means. They don't want to get into investing. They don't want to get into, figuring things out of how you can do extra. There's so many other things you can do. But a woman that could really, full-time mom, say, you know what? The house needs money, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a job and I'm going to help you. Do you know how special that woman is? To say that, because really and truly, financially, it's not her responsibility. If you really want to be honest, like really, really honest, like really honest, like really honest, like not only is that special, I think that a woman who worked 40 hours a week, come home and be a full-time mom, if you don't see her value, I don't know what you don't see. Because a lot of our women, modern women now, are working harder than men. Men work a few hours at job, they might work 10 hours overtime. I'm being so honest right now because I used to work. I used to work a full-time job. I experienced a lot of what I'm talking about. I know what we do. We get off work, we kick our feet up. We want dinner done. We want the house clean. We want clothes washed, right? A lot of times they work harder than us. We don't want to admit that, though. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. But yeah, so if you got a woman, man, that's down with you like that, man, that's really holding you down, I think she has a lot of value. And another thing I like, though, a woman that brings value is she pray for you. She really pray for you. Like, your friends, your own friends don't pray for you. But to get a godly woman, bro, to pray for you is deep. That woman praying for you, that's valuable. Because who else is praying for you? Who else really love you enough to pray for you? Half of your friends ain't praying for you. Most of your family members ain't praying for you. It's just so much when we start talking about what is value this and value that. I'm so serious, like, but yeah, if that man can't see you a praying woman, if that man can't see you willing to do anything, stop comparing yourself. You one of a kind. And I tell a man the same thing. If that woman can't see your leadership, if she can't see your covering over her, if she can't see your ideas, and she don't believe in your vision, she don't believe, she's not for you. Stop trying to explain that, because when you are aligned, you ain't gotta force your value on nobody. So that's what we talking about tonight. We gotta literally quit that. I want to give you 3 therapy tips that you can do to stop trying to, stop this. If somebody can't see your value, the first thing I want you to do is stop auditioning. You are not a candidate. You are the prize. And I think people, we miss that sometimes. You're not a candidate. You are the prize. When you know you got value, you know you're powerful, you know what you bring to the table, right? And I think that we should all observe ourselves and be like, man, what am I really worth? What do I really bring? Anybody that's a man like me, we gonna say straight up, but we bringing a kingdom. When you got a strong alpha male, he be like, hey, I'm bringing a kingdom. I got a plan. You know, it's a whole bunch of stuff. You see what I'm saying? When you got a real strong man who's confident, he's telling you straight up, I bring a kingdom to the table. When you come my way, look, hey, I'm trying to, hey, you you at the top of this kingdom immediately. Yeah. Second thing that I want you to do, though, I want you to pull back your efforts. And, you know, I think you should just pull it back. You don't get that reciprocation that you want. All it's going to do is reveal respect. They'll start respecting you when you stop doing things. They'll start respecting you. I guarantee you right now, if you stop cleaning that house up, that man come home, he gonna be like, God, dog, like, ain't nothing being done around here. Well, you know, I ain't getting no appreciation. Men, stop spending so much money. Stop trying to do all this effort. Hold some of it back for a while. Hold back some of the good things you do. You trying to compete. You trying to compete, you know. See, a lot of men think you the only one that got a list. Boy, these women got an inbox full of people ready. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. And it is what it is. They got an inbox full of people that's ready. I don't care what type of way. I'm so serious. It's just the truth. I tell men you can't really compete with that. And you shouldn't compete with that. Because if a woman is for you, stop trying to put in all of this effort so much trying to compete with other people. You got to compete with other people. You got to compete for her attention. You got to compete for her to message you. You got to compete, big dog. She don't see your value. She don't like you like that. She don't like you like that. And woman, you know, it's the same thing for you too. Like, you know, you in the dating stage and this man he always busy. Pull back your efforts. Like, this man don't see your value like that. He got somebody on the team that got his mind right now. Believe me, if somebody is quiet, they quiet for a reason. They single and quiet, they quiet because somebody else got their ears. Some people, y'all be so delusional sometimes. Like, yeah, she just busy. Nah, big dog, she not just busy. She's entertaining somebody else. No, sweetheart, you know, he ain't just busy. Somebody else got his ear. So you got to that should let you know right there that, you know, a lot of cases that your value is just not at the top of their list. The third thing I would say is you got to let absence do the explaining. See, distance, it exposes appreciation. It does. Somebody says, if you ain't got this attention, someone else does. Straight up. And people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. Like, you waiting on this man to take you out. You waiting on this man to do this. You waiting on, you know, some brothers trip me out, man. You'll drop a bag on somebody that you really like, but she don't like you like that. So you'll try to impress her. You'll try to do this and you'll try to do that. You know, it's weeks going by. Y'all still ain't talking every day. Y'all ain't texting every day. You know, y'all ain't really meeting up or nothing like that. Y'all ain't doing nothing, big dog. You ain't the one. You're not the one, bro. The one has got her attention. And everybody got this excuse. Men have the excuses. Men got so many excuses. Be like, man, look, I had to work long hours. Let me tell you something. If a man own you, he own you. I'm just being honest. But you know, women have that intuition though. They not stupid, you know, especially if they see your value. You know, they know that, you know, it's somebody else trying to get your attention too, because they see what they see. But you can't force people to see your value. I would rather you remove yourself from spaces that require you to prove it. You ain't got to prove nothing. And a lot of people, you've been through these bad relationships, where people been unloyal and you're trying to heal and all of this. You can't heal this way just trying to compete and compare and you can't do that. You got to just pick. You got to just say, look, I can't do this. God going to bring me somebody that see my value, and my value is going to be appreciated, and we're going to build something powerful. And that's the way you got to think. Like, we going to build something powerful. We going to the next level. Couldn't get it. I couldn't get I'm not going to be bitterness. I'm good. I'm just really for certain this time that I'm going to the next level. And that's the way you got to think. But quit trying to get people to see your worth. Quit. And then I want you to do me a favor. I want you to put in the comments. I want you to say this. I know my value. If you know that you bring a lot to the table, if you know that you bring more than just intimacy, if you know that you bring more than just money, if you know that you bring more than just carnal things, but you bring a lot of spiritual things, you bring a lot of things. I just want you to comment, I know my value. Now, I think that if you write this out and you see it and everybody else begins to see it and, you really realize, man, I really know and when you know your value, then you know your power. See, you are a powerful person. You are a great person. Like, you got a lot of things in you that you don't even know that's in you. But you will never get to them if you keep trying to prove yourself to people. You will never get to the place that you're trying to get to, trying to get people who don't see you, trying to get people who don't understand you. You can't do that. We just read that, some people, they've been together in relationships for 10 and 15 and 30 years, and they still can't get the other person to see their value. If you are valuable to the other person, they will do anything to keep you. They will do anything to, work something out. If you're really valuable. Don't you know that valuable things are, rare? You a rarity. God ain't made too many people like you. You in the top 1% of people. That's how you got to start talking to yourself. Like, I know my value. I'm in the top 1%. Like, you ain't going to find, it's just the truth. Some people may call it ego, but when you really calculate your own self and you know where you are and you know what you bring and you really know who you are, you know your value. Yeah, you can talk like that. You got to convince, I'm not going to live my life trying to convince. This is 2026. This is 2026. You can't live your life trying to literally prove your worth to somebody. Move on. Stop trying to prove your worth to people that ain't loyal. Let me ask you this question. What would you rather have? Love or loyalty? Stop trying to prove yourself to people who ain't even loyal just for some love. Like, are you serious? Because at the end of the day, when you do that, it just ends up bad. It don't end up good. It's going to end up a little bad, man. You're going to regret. You're going to be like, man, I can't believe this. I fought this hard. I gave up this much. I sacrificed this much for what? I gave all my value to what? This unloyal person? This is crazy. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, half the time, You trying to be loyal. You trying to be you trying to be appreciated, and you trying to be valued by somebody who don't even value themselves. We didn't even talk about that tonight. They don't even value themselves. They don't value their friends. They don't probably value their family. They don't value anything in life. They have no sense of loyalty about themselves. They're not loyal to they're not loyal to them. They're not, when I really think about this is what I literally think about when I start talking about you trying to prove yourself. Man, please. I'm in nobody's audition. Like, I'm serious, like, if I'm in a relationship, what am I auditioning for? If you in a relationship, what are you auditioning for? And I would tell any woman who has a lot of kids with a man you living with, I would just be honest, like, what more you have to prove? What more value do you have to give him? Now, if you are yet a woman that needs to work on, your mouth, maybe you need to work on, a few skills. Maybe you need to be more humble. Maybe it's some things you need to work on while this man haven't committed to you. Because that's a thing too. See, I have a lot of calls and I talk to a lot of men about things just like this. Be like, dang, bro, y'all been together how long? 10 years? And you ain't married yet, bro. I ain't finna do it, bro. They be like, I ain't finna do it, bro. Like, I'm telling you, bro, because, man, look, I married this woman. She gonna take everything I got. And I'm not willing to lose everything I got for somebody I don't feel that's valuable enough. Sound crazy, don't it? See, when you valuable, that don't even really cross a man's mind that much like that, because he believed that y'all gonna be together forever. He believed that your spirit and his spirit matches, and he believed there's not a power struggle. And in a lot of people, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're in this situation, ask yourself, is it a power struggle? Why am I not valuable enough, to where this man want to commit to me? And sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's him again. But I think that everybody should literally get in a place of meditation and begin to ask themselves these type of questions. Like, what is it? What's the problem? We share everything, but there's no real commitment. And I believe that if you get into some real conversations, you will see that somebody's afraid. Somebody's afraid that, you don't have you may not have the type of value. And then sometimes it's not even the men. Sometimes women don't want to marry you, brother. They're afraid. They're like, why would I marry him and he can't keep a job? Why would I marry him and I got to keep paying all his bills? Like, why would I commit to him for the rest of my life and give this man? There are some people that's listening to me right now. You mad that she don't want to have no kids from you. You mad that she don't want to have no kids from you, but she can't really trust you though. She can't trust your vision. She can't trust your leadership. See, I know many people probably just thought, he's just going to talk about, I'm on both sides. So, I ain't just going to get on here and simp. I just be telling the truth. Because we all be messed up sometimes. I'm just going to be honest. We all be messed up. We human though. Hey, we not perfect. We not perfect, and we all have flaws and we all have issues. But yeah, how you want this woman to commit to you and you got things that you still got to work on? It's like, I see men get down on one knee and get rejected, and then they be surprised. I'm like, oh, you surprised? You really surprised, bro? When I look at your life and I look at your value, like, it's a little shaky. See, people are learning to stop trying to get with people just because of potential. Potential is not value. I think I need to say this so I wish I can scream this. Potential is not value. I really need to, I really want somebody to understand what I'm saying. I really do. I hope you get it. I'm not trying to be that person. I'm not trying to be him. I'm not. I just want to tell you the truth. Potential is not value. I don't care what you can potentially do for me. Nobody cares about that. I don't care what you can potentially turn into. No. What do you possess already? Are you ready for the moment? See, so many people fail in business because they get with people in business who don't have enough skin in the game. Why are you trying to start an investment group with people who ain't invested no money? Why are you trying to start a restaurant with people who never sold food, who never worked in a restaurant, who don't know nothing about business? Don't that make sense? So why in the world would you believe in somebody's potential and they ain't never showed you that they could be faithful? They ain't never showed you nothing. So yeah, I get it. Some men get on one knee and get rejected. I get it. I get why it happens. I do. I understand it. Because she's afraid and she see that, you can go left or you can go right. You up in the air right now. You so unstable. Women love stability. Women love a man that's stable-minded. Women love a man that knows what he wants. Women love a man that knows where he's going. Women love a confident man. If you can't be confident, how's she gonna be confident when she walking with you? If you can't lead, if y'all get lost, what's she gonna do if she depending on you? I'm trying to just make it make some sense. Like, so now, man, I don't care what nobody say, man. That potential ain't value. You can potentially be this. No, what are you? What did you build yourself up to be? That's the question you should be asking. Like, yeah, that's it. I'm so serious. I know I done made some people mad. I know, hey, bro, I know you had the potential to be him. But right now, you just not him. Look, let me tell you something. I got in a conversation. First time I met Deion Sanders and his family, right? We had a debate about, what was the debate? It was a discussion. I was at Deion Sanders Jr., his Deion Sanders primetime, his son's house. And the whole family was over there. And we was talking about editing and we was talking about people who they hire. And Bucky said something. He was like, bro, we don't hire nobody who's not ready. We don't do that. We don't hire nobody that's not ready for this moment. He says, we don't invest in potential. It wasn't because of nothing. I wasn't trying to get no job. It was just a business conversation. It was literally like a mastermind, right? He was like, we don't hire people who's not ready for the moment. You got to be ready for the moment when you come here. So yeah, when you're ready for the moment, that means you have value. When you're ready for the moment, that means at that moment, you are that person. You have the value, you have the worth that somebody is looking for. So yeah, don't get mad, Don't get mad. Don't get mad when things don't go your way. Then I think about the woman too, though. You get mad when this man don't want to marry you. I do. I really think about this, but then I start asking myself these questions. As a man, like, men are already afraid of marriage right now. Especially successful men. They're afraid of marriage. You look at a woman and you say, do she have all of the stuff that, or do she have enough value that I could commit to? That's how men judge. Like, like, what do she really bring to the table? Like, a boss ain't worried about your money. A boss ain't worried about that. He worried about other things that could bring him peace. and that can help him, and that can help him multiply, and that can help him be a better thinker, a better person. I tell every man, you can't be a real king, you know what I'm saying, without having a queen. So a lot of women, you get mad, you've been in a relationship 6 months and he ain't proposed, a year and he ain't proposed. Maybe, just maybe, you have the potential, but you ain't really got the value all the way yet. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they say, you know, but I got to say though, if y'all on the same level, that's different. If both of y'all just growing through life and y'all on the same frequency, y'all both got just about equal amount of worth, that's different. But somebody that got itself together, you see what I'm saying? But these be the same women who be like, well, he had enough to put a baby in me. Well, you know, I ain't trying to be that guy. Again, I'm not trying to be him. But you allow him to do that. And that speaks to your value too. The truth hurts. You allow him to go in there. You was part of that too. So it can't be always him. Well, you know, he did this to me and we had a child together. So that should make us be able to, that doesn't always make him see total value in you. You know, no matter, a child don't do it. And so this is what a lot of women sometimes get in their mind. They be like, if I can get this man a baby, he'll marry me. That is a joke that the devil tell you to keep you bound. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. And then you say, well, do that affect my worth? Do that affect my value? Of course it does. Of course it does. It doesn't, I'm not saying that having a child makes you not valuable at all. That's not what I'm saying. So don't get me twisted. But it does affect your value in the marketplace for people who want to look for a wife to marry. Most men come from families, you know, that they may have a dad and or any structure he may have may tell him, you know, no. You know, even in nature, you know, most lions would, you know, they would take out the male sons of somebody else's son because they would be afraid that he would turn on them. And this is in nature. And we're not lions, you know, we're humans, we're different, we're a superior being, but a lot of men are afraid of not that. A lot of men are afraid of responsibility. They're afraid of bearing a responsibility, you know, that they didn't create. So a lot of men are logical. And they be like, man, you know, so when you say value, you know, you may not be as valued as much unless you have a lot more value that he supersedes and be like, you know what? She might already have somebody. You know, she might already have kids, but, you know, she's still powerful to me. And there's men that's like that. There's men that's like that. And I'm just being honest. There's men that's like that who says, I don't care. I just had a friend literally get a divorce and marry somebody with 4 kids. And he's very wealthy. He's seen value in his new wife that wasn't in the old one. And he was like, I got to have it. So yeah. But yeah, back to that, like, you know, I would say this, since we're on that topic, and I'm gonna give about 10 more minutes. I'm gonna give about 10 more minutes and then I'm gonna get off here. Don't do things that mess your value up. Now, I'm not gonna get on here and just, you know, tell you things that's, you know, that's not the truth. We can mess our value up. Bro, don't go out here doing things. You going out here and you hopping from women to women and you having 10 baby, you know, like, bro, that really makes you look like an unstable man. especially you can't afford to really take care of all of them. So you want a woman to accept you, and you just moving around here with lawless, without discipline, that's teaching her, so that can mess up your value. And so as we talking about this, I want you to list some things in the comments. List some things in the comments that actually mess up value. I want you to list some things in the comments that could literally mess up people's value. If we're being honest and we're being open and we're talking, and this is not a judgment zone. This is a zone that you could really just be honest about the reality of life, the reality of relationships, the reality of it. List some things. Somebody says your attitude, not having your own financial situations in order. Somebody says it's too easy having multiple baby mamas. See, I'm not the only one that's saying that. They saying it too. They saying it too, bro. So I think that it's crazy. You want this woman of value to take you serious, and you got a whole bunch of baby mamas out here. Like, yeah. What are some things that could mess up your value? Ooh, somebody says when you want to control the relationship. Hey, S'more, they ain't gonna want to hear that. Somebody says being intimate before marriage. Ain't nobody gonna want to hear that. Because everybody trying to test drive these days. They ain't trying to hear that. Micromanaging. Still, oh my goodness. Shelly, you gonna make somebody mad with this one. Somebody says still depending on parents. Yo. I didn't say that though. That's why I love these therapy sessions. I didn't say that. Somebody else said that. And I agree. It can mess up your value. Like, bro, if you still depending on your mom and dad, come on, man. You want a woman to trust you, that you know what I'm saying, you a good, valuable man, and like you still depending on your mom and dad. Same thing for the woman though, too, though. But I can kind of understand, like, she's a woman, like, my baby, hey, look, my baby gonna have everything. I'm telling you right now. My baby gonna have everything. If all your kids are grown, it's still a fact that you still have kids. And that if you're looking for a man that, you just gotta find a man that's okay with it. Most, there's a good percentage of men that, it's a shortage already, right? You guys outnumber us by a lot. Like, it's a shortage already. So there's a good man, and it's just the truth. Like, if you got a lot of kids, or if you have kids, even if you have one, I got a lot of professional celebrity clients that I consult. And you know what they tell me in some of these conversations? I had one that he was so heartbroken by this woman who had 3 kids. And they was together about 3 years, and something happened at the house, and the mama got so mad with him because, she was too masculine. She wanted to control everything. And don't you know, all the kids everybody turned on him. So that's a thing that men fear too, though. So, and those was all older kids. They didn't, nothing happened, but they all turned on him. They all, they gonna be behind mama. Like, yeah, they all gonna be behind mama, as they should. But he said after that, he said, I would never give a woman who have children a chance, ever. I'm like, dang, bro, you really can't, kind of like take that out on, what I'm saying? But I still respect it. And you still have to respect men who, you look, tonight we was talking about you can't force people to see your value. So if you have kids, you can't force a man to see your value. No. Just keep living life and God is going to align that man to find you. That's it. Don't try to get out here and convince a man that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. This dude says, Mr. Quick says, I'm sorry, I want kids of my own, so I would not date a single mother. That's respect. At least you know what you want, and so you're not going to waste time. And I respect you for that. I really do. I really respect you for that. Because there's a lot of men, they just love, spending time with single moms. They love spending time with women who got kids. You got men that's out here who like that. Some men think so foolishly. They really think, hey, shoot, I'm finna put one in or two. That's how we talk. I'm being honest. That's how we talk. I think that if you giving things away too fast, you might be a valuable person, but that man don't think you a valuable person. Nope. He ain't work for nothing. That man came straight in, met you one day, took you home. You better learn some discipline. I believe somebody wrote that in the comments earlier. I just didn't say nothing about it. But yeah, think about that for a minute. So if this man meet you on a first date and all of a sudden, I'm sorry, like, that boy ain't finna see no value in you. He ain't have to work for nothing. Let me tell you. Okay, I'll tell you this, right? If somebody gave you a car, right? And you didn't work for it. If it got repoed or if it got towed, how would you feel about it? You'd be like, yo, I ain't pay for it anyway. Somebody took my car. But man, let a car get towed that you paid for, that you paying on, that's valuable to you, that's costing your hard-earned money. You finna lose your mind. You finna be like, what? It's a difference. And that's why when people don't respect your stuff that you paid for, you get serious about it because it's valuable to you. So a woman that you don't make it work, he ain't work for it. He gonna treat you any kind of way. He already gonna put you in them, he gonna put you over there in that mindset. Like, he finna put you over there. Like, yeah, she one of them, big dog. Like, what? Hey, that you in that conversation. You not wife type. It's a rarity that you just, give a man that like that. And like, it's a rarity. Like, it's rare. I've heard the, love at first sight type thing. I've heard that. But come on now. That's in probably the first, 1%? That's in like 1%. Most men I know that's on the first night is not marrying you. We got it. Sometimes people get caught up in this. I want to just please and prove this man. I want to do this and I want to show him I'm down. And we've been talking for a while. So I just want to show him that I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. But no, you need to show him you respect yourself. You need to show him that what you got up under there, hey, it's valuable. It's so valuable that when you get it, sure, you gonna want more. And you gonna wanna change your attitude. You gonna wanna work for this thing. See, a lot of times you ain't giving a man nothing to work for. He ain't working for nothing. This man coming in off the rip, like, yeah, cause you too lustful. because you ain't got your flesh under control. Man, I'm trying to tell you, like, that can really mess up your value. Somebody says, my ex made me wait for 3 months. Whole time was messing with someone else. Well, I'm just tell you the truth right now. You know, a lot of men that's single, you know, unless you got a man that's really respectable and he's living a life that's real, you know, like he really living a God-fearing life, and, you know, like he's serious about life, and he's serious about, you know, maybe he might not be messing with nobody else, but most of them, they got, you know, they got a little list, you know, and they just wait. They'll wait for 3 months on you. Because while they waiting on you, they got other work. I'm just being honest. And man, a lot of men think you valuable just because you can go snatch bodies, but you really, that don't make you valuable either. It don't make you valuable. What make you valuable as a man is being disciplined, being able to say no, being able to control yourself. Because do you know how much money you have to spend? Yeah, everybody want to be player made, but you don't want to talk about how much player made costs. It's gonna cost you money, and it's gonna cost you spiritually. You getting connected to all these demons. You getting connected soul tie with all these different women, right? Your life can't be on track. Your life can't be on track. Something is off. What are you achieving? Do you know that most men who run like this, they always say, man, I'm so tired. I just want to find that one, dog. Yeah, you've been living years and years and everything is the same. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same. It's just a different woman. It's the same, you know, everything is the same. You know, maybe the experience is different, but essentially, logically, it's the same. So it don't make you more valuable to do that. You lose value by doing that. See, a woman like a man that ain't, you know, you can't really touch him. You can't get access. And that's another thing that mess a woman's value up too, you know, is everybody have access to you. You're not valuable like that. Everybody got access to you. You're not valuable. I'm just being real. And people might be like, I've been in a relationship with this man. I've been this and I've been that. But, you know, sometimes when you go to their pages and you look at how they dress, that can mess with your value too. Men judge you what you look like and what you put out to the world. So if you ain't got no clothes on, like in all the shots, and you always toe up with your home girls, guess what kind of boat they putting you in? She one of them, big dog. Like, she always with her friends. They always partying and stuff. Like, you know, like she about that fun life. Like, that mess with your value too. I don't care who you are, classy gonna always win. You know, I mean, you know, you do a little mixture, but classy win. This is the truth though. What could literally, you know, mess up your value is like, you know, like how you present yourself. You can be the nicest person in the world. You can be the nicest person in the world. You know, but if you know, you can have the most value in the world. But men, we are the same way though. Like, what if, right, I'm supposed to be this valuable man, but everything I post online is all negative. Everything I post is all negative. Everything I do is all negative. I'm always out with my homeboys and I'm always doing this. This not showing her that I'm valuable either. So I can't put nobody in, and you can't put nobody in a box, because we all have our messed up ways, and we all have, you know, we all are messed up. The best thing that we could do is literally find our footing so that we could be and get what we want. And I tell men, you just got to get aligned. You got to get aligned. That's when the blessings come. when you do what's right, that's when the favor come.